If you want to get the top odds every time, bet with Top Sport's Same Game Multi. Top Sport. Feel the excitement.
Gamble responsibly.
Welcome back to another edition of the Same Game Multi podcast. Thank you once again for joining us. Part 3 of our NRL Season Preview. If you haven't already checked out our other 2 episodes, they are linked up in the cards as we speak. Make sure you head on over and check those out as well. Today we're going to go through the Warriors, North Queensland Cowboys, Parramatta Eels, and the Penrith Panthers. And to do so with me are the boys, J-Rod, Jared Burton.
Yeah, sorry, I was
too busy on the Snapchat.
My hairdresser's got my appointment mixed up. She said 4:30 today. I was saying, well, I'm not there, so it must be 4:30 tomorrow. And I checked my notes, and it is 4:30 tomorrow. But going good, boys.
At the Manscaped hairdresser? Or?
Yeah, it is, mate. Yeah.
And Mr. Cherry Ches 316, how are you, mate?
Sensational, boys. What's going on?
Going on a lot, mate. Just getting into it. Another week, another 4 teams that we're going to preview, boys. We'll jump into that in a little bit. But just before we do, we actually had a new segment ready for the start of the season, but we've had to bring it forward a couple of weeks. Now, the new segment is...
You are off. Don't talk to me. Just
the send-off.
He has been
now, each
sent
week,
off.
similar, our regular viewers will know early on in the podcast, J-Rod had a segment called The Shit List. Very similar to that, I suppose, in a sense. We're going to look at a player or a team or an individual each week and give them the send-off if they do something shit. But this week, boys, we've had to bring it forward due to the NRL trials and the one between St George and Parramatta. Mate, do you want to take us away and let the audience know why we had to bring it forward?
Yeah, well, if you didn't catch that game, just slip onto YouTube when you're done watching us, and or if you're on YouTube, just go straight up to the search bar and change it. But so it was basically a hip drop by one of the St George players on the winger, Hayes Dunster. So it was
Tyrell Fuimaono,
yes,
the same guy, the same St George Illawarra player that hit Ryan Pappenhausen in Magic Round last year and knocked him out for about 12 rounds of the season. So he's got a bit of form with the hip drop. Bit of an ironic twist, though, Ches. You were saying...
Yeah, actually, the boys there, it's going to be a bit awkward at the Sunday dinners, apparently, because Dunster's hooked up with his sister.
Yeah,
brother-in-laws.
So there'll be a couple of awkward moments of silence, I reckon, on the weekend there when they're chewing into the roast beef or something. They'll be...
Yeah, so they've been together for about 6 years, I read. So
right.
So they've been together for a while, but... at the same time, you can't, you can't excuse what's happened or how it happened. There's a reason why there's things like the grapple tackle, the hip drop, etc. They're being outlawed out of the game. At the same time, yes, I do understand that it's a contact sport, and it's just a freak accident. But in that sense, when you look at Tyrell's probably, I don't know the exact numbers, but he'd be over 100 kilos.
Oh, yeah, at least.
And Hayes Dunster is probably about, 95 wet wearing boots. So, if he can't take him down without a hip drop, it's got me, I don't.
Yeah, it's a dangerous tackle. You're going to see lots of... I think it'll be the new chicken wing, the new grapple tackle. They'll outlaw that and put 5 weeks, I think he's caught for that.
I think the only person that used to get away with a hip toss was Ric Flair.
He did his PCL, his MCL, and his ACL, so he's completely fucked his knee out for the whole season and got a long rehab ahead of him. So all the best to Hayes and his recovery there. But luckily, we'll go through the team list a bit later on, but luckily they signed a little player from Canberra in the off-season that might be able to cover.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's the send-off. As I said, we had to bring it forward a couple of weeks due to Tyrell, but each and every week we'll be having a look at someone who one of the boys might want to send off and piss off back to the sheds.
We're harsh but fair.
I'm going to put in a close nomination there. I'm not going to give them the send-off, but they're very, very, very close, and it's the Brisbane Broncos.
10 in the bin?
Yeah, I'll give them 10. They're going to go and have a little sit-down. The Brisbane Broncos, I actually read an article this afternoon whilst I was having lunch, and it said that the players have asked for Kevy to stand down a little bit on training. They're afraid they're going to burn out because they've been training too hard prior to the season. Like, boys, have you not go on to when you're done watching this, the Brisbane players, you're done watching that on YouTube. Just go and have a look at where you've run the last 3 or 4 years, and then wonder why you're getting hammered during the pre-season. That's atrocious. Saying that you risk being burnt out, mate. You haven't even played. You played one game in your first trial. You got beaten by a first grade Brisbane side, not even a first grade NRL side, and then you wonder why. And you claim you're going to get burnt out, like, boys.
Just quickly touching on Brisbane too. Adam Reynolds, a bit of leg troubles at the moment too. They're thinking he might miss out on round 1.
They reckon he might have tweaked his hamstring again.
Yes.
Maybe the South did something the Broncos didn't.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good chance.
All right, boys, let's jump into our season preview. Just before we do, I will mention our NRL footy tipping comp is now live. You can join. All you got to do is become an SGM club member. Details are on screen as we speak. $1,000 worth of cash and prizes up for grabs. Completely free to join. 100% free. And see if you can go head to head and maybe pick one of our boys here on the panel by the end of the year. All right, let's jump in. 4 teams this week, boys. First up, we're going to look at the New Zealand Warriors. Last year, they came 12th on the ladder. They had 8 wins and 16 losses, so double the amount of losses that they had there. Signings, boys, they haven't really done a lot. They've picked up Sean Johnson from Cronulla, back end of his career. Jesse Arthurs, I think he's come from Brisbane as a bit of a lone player there for the season. Your boy J-Rod Ash-Taylor. Hey. And the losses, they haven't really lost a lot. There is one big name there I've got highlighted, and that's Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. He's going to be an enormous loss for them. A few other good players there, Peter Hiku, Ken Malalo, Sean O'Sullivan, a few others there, but no real big names. How do you see the season playing out for the Warriors, boys? And can you see them pushing for the 8 this year at all?
Yeah, I don't think they will. Looking at my notes here, I've got them down at 14th for the season, and I think that'll be very, very close to reflect on how they'll go this year. It definitely won't help them playing away from home. Again, this year they'll be stationed in Australia for the time being. You never know stranger things have happened at sea, but they'll play all of their home games in Australia, which won't give them that home advantage. But I tell you what, if it keeps going at this rate, I think there might be a couple of Aussies that'll probably go and watching the game. And for example, when nobody likes Manly, whoever else will go there, they'll all be following the Warriors. Very thankful for what they've given. So, but when you say they've lost Roger and they've replaced it with Reece Walsh, at the same time I like Reece Walsh and he's a good player and everything like that, but one thing I do think he's good for a brain snap, whereas Rogers, he's cool as a cucumber. He's a really good composed player, whereas I think Reece, like you seen the other last year, I can't think of who it was almost in a Barney and he came running in.
Yeah, Harris Tavita.
Harris Tavita. So and not that I frown upon that, because that's how brotherships are made. But at the same time, if that's your number one for the season, that's sort of not what you want.
You mentioned home games. Hopefully they can get home. They're talking maybe June, July, they might be able to with the border restrictions and COVID and all that shit. But we'll talk about that once we get a bit closer to the date. Be good for them to get home. They haven't been home for a couple of years. There's players in the side that have never actually been in New Zealand.
Is that right?
Yeah, well, you look at even Reece Walsh. He only joined last year. He's never been in New Zealand.
Lodge and
yeah, a lot of there'd be quite a few on that squad that have never actually touched footy in New Zealand because of the laws. Ches, what do you think, mate? How do you see him playing out?
Mate, I can't see them making the 8. They might scrape close to the top 10, but I've got them running at 12th. Similar reasons as you there, Birdo. One of those sides you can't pick them week to week on their form. They just throw the ball around, do their own thing. That's what makes them so dangerous sometimes, and also easy targets for the stronger sides without sort of set plays and things like that. Sean Johnson was a good pickup for him. I think he'll bring his experience in there with him as well. Pretty handy player, but yeah, I think there's nothing there that stands out to me for a top 8 side.
I think Sean Johnson will go good, only because he's got very little onus on himself, whereas at Cronulla there was a lot of pressure, and he was always aware of that spotlight was on him. I think he'll go good.
Top 17, boys. Who wants to kick us off first?
I'll jump in first.
All right, Ches.
Number 1, obviously, Reece Walsh.
Yep.
Wingers, I got DW Zalesniak and Jesse Arthurs.
Yep.
Rocco Berry and Pompey in the centres. Then we've got at number 6, Harris Tavita, backed up by number 7, Shawnee Johnson. Adam Fanoa Blake playing at prop. Wade Egan wearing the 9. Big Matt Lodge at number 10. Love watching him carry the ball around. Ewan Aitken and Katoa there in the second row. Josh Curran playing at lock. Then on the bench, I got Bailey Sirinen, Murdoch Masila, Jazz Tavaga, and Marcelo Montoya. Almost sounds like a mafia hit list, that does.
It does, yeah, something.
A little bit different to me. Back five are the same, so I got Walsh, Wateni's, Lesniak, Berry, Pompey, and Arthurs as well. I got Sean Johnson wearing number 6 with Cody Nikorima at number 7. I like Cody, good little player. Adam Fanua-Blake, number 8, one of the best props in the game. He needs to stay fit this year. He's out last year with that leg injury, the shin, he had own Spurs or something like that. Wade Egan, Matt Lodge, Ewan Aitken. I got Josh Curran at 12, Tohu Harris at 13. I've got Harris DeVita on the bench for that utility. If one of the halves go down, he can come and play that and back up Wade Egan if need be. Murdoch Masila, he's good for an anytime try scorer. He'll feature a lot in my multis during the year. Bunty Afoa and Lisa Katoa as well round out the bench there. So
Yeah,
and
well,
I've got them finishing 11th.
11th,
Just
yeah.
missed out on that 8.
Well, as I said before, I've got them finishing 14th. You know, they're very similar sides. So I got Walshy Boy at 1, DWZ, Rocco Berry and Adam Pompey are my centres. And on the side, I got the young Edward Cosi. I could be wrong, but he was, from off the top of my head, he's an ex-Australian schoolboy. Shawnee Johnson at 6. I've got him at 6, Chaz. You've got him at 7, but I'll have him at 6. And that way I'll take a little bit of onus off him, and I'll give Tavita Harris the 7. Adam Fanua-Blake, Wade Egan, Benny Murdoch Masila after his rampage last year. Ewan Aitken, Josh Curran at 12, and I'm going to stick with Tahu Harris at 13. He played a fair bit there last year. Cody Nikorima, Matty Lodge, Jazz Tavenga, and I got Elise Katoa in there at 17. So that rounds out the side.
Yeah, Jazz Tavaga I nearly put him in as well, so he'd nearly take that 16 or 17 jumper for me, but I went with Foa and Katoa. So last year, sorry boys, I forgot to mention, thanks to Top Sport, it's been on the screen for a while now, but the premiership odds, $41 if you like them there. Minor premierships also $41. Top 4, $10. Top 8, $4, and least amount of wins, $7. So bit of money either way there. Top 8 for $4. You never know if they get on a bit of a roll. If they do get some home games towards the back end of the season, they may sneak in for it. Against last year, and he had to win 12 games or something to get in to the top 8. So you never know. But
Honestly, I think none of those bets would pay off. Honestly, they're not going to get the spoon.
Yeah.
Too good for that. Top 8, I don't think they're good enough for that.
Yeah, I see them in that 10 through to 13 position, I suppose. That's
Just
4.
the usual.
The team that sort of,
Over the last few years.
Yeah,
2 to 4 games behind the pack sort of thing. They're going to be a little bit short by the end of the round, but end of the season, I should say. But I have been wrong before.
Never.
No.
You lie. What we might do, boys, we're running a bit short of time for this segment, so we might just take a quick little break, and we'll be back to preview the North Queensland Cowboys, so make sure you stick around.
Another half win. From punters jumping in early or waiting too late. You get a good price on one leg, but the others have shortened dramatically. You still win, but it feels like you half win. Introducing Top Sport's Best of the Best multi. Get top odds on every leg, every time. Don't be one of these. Just bet and forget Bob Multi. Top Sport. Feel the excitement.
Don't let the game play you. Stay in control. Gamble responsibly.
All right, we're back. Thanks for sticking around. As I said, we're going to jump straight into the Cowboys now. These boys in 2021, pretty disappointing. They finished 15th, only 7 wins and 17 losses. Not much in the recruitment as well. Picked up Chad Townsend, Peter Hiku. That's not a bad pickup. I like that pickup there. He's a good little centre. Few losses, but no one really big there either. Michael Morgan retired halfway through last year, as we all know. Not really anyone else there that I'm seeing that's standing out for me, boys. Premiership, if you like them, $51. $67 if you like them for the minor premierships. Top 4 will give you 10. Top 8, $4.80. And least amount of wins, they're the second favourite for this at $4.40. I've got them running 15th, and I'll get to that in a minute with our top 17. But how do we see the Cowboys season playing out, boys? Do we see it any different to last year? Can they improve on that 15th? It's been a struggle ever since Thurston retired, I'm going to say. They've never recovered from that. Todd Payton, there's a lot of pressure on him this year. If he gets 4 or 5 losses in the first 6 rounds, they'll be calling for his head, I reckon.
The burners will be on. Looking at my notes here from the previous couple of weeks, I'm going to take that $4.40. I've got them at 16th. I've got them. I think
Run dead last?
Yeah, I think they'll run dead last. Looking through their team list, realistically, boys, I don't see a great deal there. And to be honest, going off last year's form, I don't see a lot there either, sort of thing. So, I suppose it's a different year, different season. But mate, yeah, no.
They're very light on in the halves. Like I know it said they got Chad Townsend, but he's not an $800,000 a year or $850, I think it was. Scott Drinkwater, good player, but he doesn't have that X factor. They're just struggling there. Valentine Holmes hasn't produced since he's come back.
Hot and cold.
For the $1 million price tag that he is. Yeah, hot and cold. Injured a lot as well, which isn't helping. I understand that. Taumalolo, he was injured a lot last year as well, and the whole not playing the 80 minutes, that didn't really pay off for Payton. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there this year with that as well. But, Ches, anything you want to say on them, mate?
I've got them running 15th as well, only because the Tigers are playing this year. I reckon they'll scrape up the bottom end there with their 5 captains. But I can't see them improving on last year much at all. I don't think they just don't have anything really to use.
Yeah.
There's no real positives there that I can see. And, touching on that, you'd be looking at sort of Hammer, Peter Hiku, Drinkwater. You'd be looking at those boys to get them over the line for most games, I think. It's going to be a bit of a tough year for them.
Yeah, I think they're going to rely on the same to try and create something. Then I'll tell you what, if Taumalolo doesn't create anything through the middle, like looking through their forward pack, I can't see where they're going to get meters from apart from him. So, and then again too, you spoke about it earlier, $1 million man, but he spent most of last year injured. So then again, do you risk playing him not 80 minutes to try and force that many meters and then risk burning him out? Or it's a difficult one, and particularly playing through the middle of the field is obviously the hardest place.
Yeah. Best 17, mate. Who you got, Ches?
Run through them real quick here. We got the Hammer, Talagai, Val Holmes, Peter Hiku, and Kyle Felt. Scotty Drinkwater and Chad Townsend in the halves. Big Jace Tomalalo there at the number 8. Reece Robson at 9. Mitchell Dunn. Second row is Jordan McLean. His first name is a Helium Lukey.
Yep.
Helium.
Nearly Helium. I nearly said that.
Yeah, Helium, I think.
Reuben Goddard at lock. Jakey Granville on the bench with Cohen Hess, Jermaine Tanoa Brown, and Jeremiah Nanai.
Yeah, mine's a little bit different. First ones are the same. Hammer at the back. I really like him there. Lightning quick.
You like the hammer
at the back.
like a bit of a hammer in the back. Val Holmes on the wing, I think he's a better winger than he is fullback, even if he is getting fullback money. Peter Hiku and Talangi in the centres. Kyle Felt on the wing. Hopefully he can do a few of those crazy tries that he got last year, boys. Scott Drinkwater is partnering Chad Townsend in the halves. Cohen Hess, Reece Robson, and Tanoa Brown in the front row. Lukey, Condon in the back row, and Taumalolo in the lock. I want him there at lock, and I want him playing 80 minutes. Jakey Granville there at the number 14. He can come on and play, as we saw last year, he plays hooker, he can play fullback, he can play centre, he can play everywhere. Good little player. Jordan McLean, he needs to stay injury-free this year as well. They paid big money for him a couple of years ago, and he hasn't produced either. He's a Australian front rower from a few years back. Tom Gilbert and Mitchell Dunn rounding out the bench. I've got them running 15th. I don't think they're going to improve much at all, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think we're all very, very similar on the table, and also very, very, very similar on paper. Now, boys, I don't want to contradict what I said before, but I still think Valentine Holmes is one of the best wingers in the game. He obviously was when he left, but so I'm going to put him at 1. Now, the reason... now, just listen.
Okay.
the reason I've got him at 1 is if you look at this... how important this is for the Hammer. I've got him playing it on the wing. Now, what I want him to do, I want him to be like a Blake Ferguson. Valentine Holmes, the kick goes straight to him, or if it goes to anyone else, they pass it straight to Val Holmes. He takes the first one, then the Hammer's off the fence for that second one, try and get the momentum, get it up towards the advantage line, so then the forwards can then take the ball forward from there. That's the only reason why I'm going to play him at 1.
Does he have the size for that, the Hammer, though? He's got the speed.
Yeah.
But does he have the size of Ferguson, you think?
I don't think he's got he doesn't necessarily have the size of Ferguson, but I think he's just got the raw ability. If he's going to hit the line at 100 mile an hour, he's going to bend. not necessarily break the line, but all he's got to do is bend the line, push the line back. Those people that are always first up to tackle him make the impact, make them go backwards, even if it's a step. Then you gain momentum. Quick play the ball, up and go. That's what I want him to do. If he doesn't do it, well, then he'll go to 1. Val will go to the wing. So.
Okay.
But I've got Val Holmes at 1. I've got the Hammer at 2. Petahiku and Lumi in the centres. I'm going to play him in the centres only because Kyle Felt is on the wing. And I tell you what, he's not far off playing on the wing in reserve grade if there wasn't for nobody else. Scotty Drinkwater, Tommy Dearden at 6 and 7. Cohen Hess, Reece Robson and Tanoa Brown at 10. And I've got Ruben Cotter. Now, Ben Condon. Now you got to be careful how you say that one. the
old latex man himself.
Yeah, the latex man and Jason Tamalolo at 13. On the bench, I got Dejan Arce. Dejan Arce.
Yeah,
Sorry, mate. Fucking hell.
It's all right. Just get it right.
Ben Hampton, Tommy Gilbert, and Jakey Granville there in at 17.
I had a look at your bench. Obviously, you put your team list through to me so I could do the graphics. And not contradicting anything, but it's a small bench you're running with there, I saw.
Yeah, well, I know.
Reason for it, or
not really? I'm just going for something that's going to be a little bit different. And the only they've got to change the way they play. And looking at that, if you can get big minutes out of Cohen, Hess, Brown, and Tamalolo, then I'm thinking if you can get the smaller sort of blokes on the edge to try and create a bit of momentum, more so. In the sense of, say, Tyson Frizzell. Tyson Frizzell isn't exactly the biggest bloke in the world. He is fairly broad, but at the same time, he's got a big motor and his acceleration. So get him a bit early ball and see if you can't bend the line, get the ball out and try and push the line. Because, it depends on a lot of sides if they defend from the middle out or they out, if you can go around them and try and go up through the, your small forwards, your 11 and 12. If you can't beat them in the middle, that's the only thing I can think of. Try and take a bit of pressure off some of the big boys.
Very good. All right, 16th, 15th and 15th for Mr. Cherry there. So another sad year for the Cowboys according to us. But if you do like them for least amount of wins, $4.40. Thanks to Top Sport, J-Rod's jumping on board.
Yep.
Hey, you want to close that door, bro?
Close the old studio door.
All right, let's move on to the Parramatta Eels. 2021, not a bad season. They end up finishing 6th, 15 wins, 9 losses. Teams pretty much stayed the same. They've sort of gained a couple of players, Mitch Rain and Bailey Simonson. As I mentioned earlier, he was the one that can possibly replace Dunstan now that he's out for the season. Losses, I've got one highlight here, Blake Ferguson, as you're just talking about, J-Rod. I think he's still held up in a Japanese prison, to be honest.
I think he is.
He's been there for months. No one's even talking about it.
Probably undergoing that fingernail torture. You wouldn't know. The bamboo skewers.
He seems to have disappeared, perhaps.
Will Smith as well up to Gold Coast. We spoke about him last week. Premiership boys, $12. They don't mind them there for the premiership. Minor premiers, 17. Top 4, $4. Top 8's pretty much a given, I think, $1.55. And least amount of wins is $41. I'll throw to you first. J-Rod team is your team. What do you like about Parramatta this year, and can you see them going any better than they did last year? Okay, over to you, Mr. Cherry.
I've got them one step higher on the table. I got them in at 5th. How much I would really, really, really love to see it happen, I don't think it's going to happen. Instead, I'll probably, if I'm going to have a stab, I'm going to probably go to the top 4, which was $4. If not, I'm going to 155, and I might link another couple of sides in there to make the 8. As much as I want to see it happen, I don't think we're going to win the comp.
You mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, just off camera, that if they're going to do it, this is the year they're going to do it, because they've got a lot of players leaving at the end of this year, and they'll probably go into that whole rebuild phase as teams do. So this is the year they've got to do it. If they are going to do it, they've got to do it this year. I agree with that. Ches, what do you think of the mate?
Mate, still a massive threat to any side. A bit the same as you though, Berto. I don't know whether they've got it. I just don't know. I don't have that feel for them this year. Definitely going to be dangerous. That top 8 was $1.55.
$1.55 top 8. Yep.
Unless something drastic would have to happen for them not to make the top 8. There's something that had to go massively wrong for them not to be in there. I got them picked at 6th, only because of the quality of the sides above them for the year. But like what we've seen them do to Melbourne and stuff at the tail end of last year, devastating side when they're on fire. If they can produce that through not the whole season, but a good portion of it, definitely up there, aren't they?
Absolutely,
That's where they're going to be scraping around that
It's
sort
like,
of 4th, 5th position.
Yeah, like you said, Clint, I mentioned it numerous weeks ago that perhaps this could be the year that they put in one last hurrah. And in a lot of cases too, over previous years, I haven't seen much of them in the media. Whereas generally they're always in the media,
contract dramas and all that kind of stuff. I suppose a lot of that played out last year for them with Marnie and a few others. They're signing. Papalihi's going as well, isn't he? So, yeah, hopefully they can bunker down and put in, and all credit to the boys. I'll throw you first. Top 17, mate. Who you got?
Top 17 barely changes from last year. Gutho at 1, Sevo and Will Penasini will be on the inside of him. That is when he is fit, because Micah Sevo won't be back for numerous rounds. So Will Penasini, Wonga Blake are the two centres, Bailey Simonson on the wing. Dylan Brown, Mitchy Moses at 6 and 7, Big Reg, Regan Campbell-Gillard at 8, Reed Marnie at 9, Junior Paulo, Isaiah Papali'i, and Shawnee Lane. Now, I'm going to start Sean Lane, and especially after this week's trial game that we played against St George, he was nothing less of fabulous through the middle. He was really good.
He's about 6'11" or something, isn't he, too? He's a monster.
Massive, but he fucking like he's been running on mattresses his whole life. I got Nathan Brown at 13. I think his ball playing is fabulous there as well. Ray Stone will come in. He'll take over Will Smith, who I think was a big loss as a utility. Ryan Madison, Oregon Kafusi, and Murata Niokore brings up my 17.
Yeah, good side. Like you said, hasn't changed much from last year. Only a few injury and retirements or losses. Blake Ferguson obviously out there.
Criminals.
I might jump in, Ches, before you, if that's all right. Mine's very similar. Gutho, Sevo, Penasini, Blake, Simonson in for Dunster. Did have Dunster in there, but had to swap that out. Dylan Brown, Mitchell Moses, Junior Paulo, Reed Marnie, RCG, Campbell-Gillard, Papali'i. I've got Ryan Mattison in there starting. Hopefully he doesn't get knocked the fuck out again first round. Nathan Brown locking up the scrum. Ray Stone, Niokore, Sean Lane. And I had Oregon Kafusi, but I've crossed him out and I put in Bryce Cartwright. I know you don't go much on him, but he was good at the back end of last year. He brought in a bit of creativity that they needed. They were lacking a bit. And he's just got that bit of spark, bit of jazz about it. So I popped him on the bench at number 17, and Kafusi just misses out in my best 17.
Mate, very similar to you, boys. My forwards are slightly different, but originally I had this list done and I sent it to you last week before the Ric Flair hip drop incident happened. So I had King Gutho Dunster at second. At 2. Now, in the number 5, I was a bit undecided there. I had Bailey Simonson and Mika Sevo with a slash in between them, question marks, injury, like you're saying. Obviously now we've got to play Sevo and Simonson in there for Hayes Dunster. Wonga Blake and Penasini in the centres. Dylan Brown, Mitchy Moses. I've got Junior Paulo running the prop. Reed Mahoney. RC Gillard. And the only difference between yours and mine here is Madison's at 11. Papali'i's at 12. Nathan Brown at lock. Murata Niokore at 14. Oregano Kafusi, Bryce Cartwright, and Big Shawnee Lane at number 17.
With Sevo out as well, there's still a Jennings brother running around there somewhere, isn't there? He'll play the wing for the first few rounds until Sevo's back.
Yeah, well, the rumours are...
Michael, George, which one?
Michael Georgian.
Which one's it still there?
So it's not Robert, it's not Michael, it's not George.
There's another one.
There's another one. There's a fourth one. So.
Like the Walters boys.
Yeah. So Michael's retired. George Jennings is somewhere else, and
George is at Penrith.
George is at Penrith, and one of them's in Melbourne. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Anyway.
Hopefully, there's talks that Jermaine Osako could come.
Yeah, I think the Brisbane put the kibosh on that though.
They did they?
Yeah, I read, but you never know. You never know what might happen. I've got them running 6. I don't think I mentioned that. Same as you, Ches, and one less than you, Berto. You got them running 5th. All in all, top 8, $1.55, not a bad bet. All right, let's quickly jump into the Panthers, boys. We've got a few minutes left in this segment. 2021, they were second on the ladder at the end of the regular season, and only by 4 and against. They were tied with Melbourne for the amount of wins. 21 wins, 3 losses. Haven't really gained many, but they've lost quite a few. Not really any big names there to mention in the games, but Matty Burton, Kurt Capewell, lost them, Tyrone May, Momorowski, Brent Naden, Pengai Jr., I've highlighted him. I know he's only there for 3 or 4 games, but he was a big loss because he brought that impact off the bench that they needed. But Premiership odds $5.50, minor premiers $4.80, top $4.70. I don't mind that. Top $8.10, and least amount of wins $151. Again, all thanks to TopSport. If you haven't already, make sure you sign up using our SGM code for all these great odds. $1.70 for top 4, boys. I like that. That's pretty good value. How do you see the season playing out? Can they repeat and go back to back?
I think that's really good value there, that $1.70. All over that one in the next week or two. Mate, with those players out, they do have the depth, as we've seen. There goes my pencil. Writing one. But they're going to be strong this year. What are they paying for minors?
$4.80.
$4.80 and fives for
$5.50
$5.50 premiership. That's good value right there. Thanks to Tristan and the boys. I think that's paying overs, really. I'll be jumping on that. They're going to be strong. They're going to come out hard again. They're going to be looking for that back-to-back and try and make something of that. There's no real weakness in their side anyway. Even like I was just mentioning with the depth they have, there's nothing really there. Maybe a little bit towards maybe in the centres, probably be their weakest point, I think. But they're going to be very strong again.
Yeah, similar to the Storm last week when we said if you didn't know they lost so many players, you wouldn't know, kind of thing. Like, it's still a very strong side. Matt Burton's a big loss. Kurt Catewell, I think, is probably even bigger, to be honest.
Absolutely,
He was phenomenal the last couple of seasons. So let's quickly jump into our top 17. You want to say anything on it, mate? How do you see the season playing out before you do?
Well, I've got them in third, only because, as Chaz has mentioned before, teams above them. But now I sort of look at it, there could be cake on my face at the end of the year, but I'll take that. But I'll have them at third for now. So, and as you said, they very similar to Melbourne. They've replaced quality with quality. So, I think they'll go good.
What's your 17 look like?
17. So, Dylan Edwards at number 1. Brian Tato, there's absolutely no way on God's green earth is he not in there. He'll be at 2. Charlie Staines will be at 5. I've got Isaac Targo in at 4. Stevie Crichton in at 3. So, they're my two centres. Jerome Luai and Nathan Cleary
Pick themselves
by a long way. So James Fisher-Harris, Api Coruscant, Moses Leota. Now I'm going to start him because of last year. I thought he was excellent last year. So Viliami Kikau, the sheep, in at 11. Spencer Liu will be at 12. And I've got Isaiah Yeo at 13. He also picks himself too. That bloke is a hard nut for sure. Lindsay Smith, now that bloke is an Australian schoolboy. He'll be at 14. He's fairly broad, but at the same time he's fairly nimble. He can get in there and do a little utility work. Scott Sorensen in at 15. Spencer Liu in there again. I got him in there twice for some reason, and Matty Eisenhuth. So we want to be a good player because he's getting lots of wages. But
one fellow I noticed you're missing there, mate, Liam Martin. So maybe that's who you want on the bench instead of Spencer.
Yes. Actually, I do remember changing that. Liam Martin, I was going to start.
Start Liam Martin.
So Liam Martin will be at 12. Sorry.
Okay, fantastic.
Very similar to yours, Birdo. Top 7 are the same. Fullback through to the halves. Edwards, Toto, Crichton, Targo, Staines, Luai, Cleary. Moses Leota at 8. Coruscant at 9. Fisher-Harris at 10. Kikau Skunkhead at 11. Liam Martin at 12. Isaiah Yeo 13. Bench, Mitch Kenny, Sorensen, Spencer Lanui, Matt Eisenhuth.
Mine's exactly the same as yours, Ches. I'm not going to even mention it, but exactly the same. The only difference between us was Mitch Kenny on the bench. You had Australian schoolboy.
Lindsay Smith,
Lindsay Smith.
Young
that was the only real difference there. So again, pretty much the whole team picks themselves. I think they might struggle. Charlie Staines, I don't know if I rate him. He obviously burst on the scene, 4 tries, all that kind of stuff. But I think he's got a lot of work in his game that he needs to work on. And Targo, I haven't seen much of him, so they might struggle out in that centre.
Targo played 6 games last
not
year,
a lot,
I think.
Not a lot, is it?
Realistically, he hasn't got much conditioning, particularly in first grade, so different kettle of fish too.
Isaiah Yeo, one of my favourite players. His ball playing through in the middle is phenomenal, and hopefully he stays really fit for the whole season. So I've got him finishing first, boys. I think they're going to go one better than last year. What have you got him finishing?
Mate, they have a very solid year, as I had mentioned just before. Got them running at first as well. I reckon they're going to pick up the minor premiership. Maybe not necessarily the major, the big trophy, but I reckon they're going to finish in first spot this year.
$4.80 there, plus your $1.70. That's good odds for your top 4. All right, anything else before we wrap her up, boys? We're running a bit over time. No, all good. All right, stick around. We've got 21 and done beer of the week coming up after this break.
If you want to get the top odds every time, bet with Top Sport's Same Game Multi. Top Sport. Feel the excitement.
Gamble responsibly.
All right, we're back. Thank you once again for sticking around. We're going to jump straight into our charity bets. For those of you that are new to the show, each and every week, our major sponsor, Top Sports, gifts us with $50 each to have a bet with. All the money raised will be going to our nominated charities, and we will be withdrawing that money for our first 3 charities very shortly, just before the NRL season kicks off. And we'll hit another 3 charities for the whole NRL season. Just a touch under $2,000 in that account as we speak, so some good money going there. Boys, I mentioned last week I couldn't tell my charity bet on the show because I was going to go the Pan Liquors on the Tuesday night. I can tell you it was a success. I put 5 $10 bets on, picking up 4 places in each of the races. I've got 2 out of 5 up, so 40% win rate. Thank you very much. Just a tick under $100 there in the account for me. How'd you boys go last week?
Missed out by a bee's whisker.
Just a bee's whisker. Always a bee's whisker.
Trying to remember what I actually bet on last week. Oh, that's right. We had a couple of little legs. Had the darts.
The darts are fucking up.
I got let down by James Wade in the Premier League. So what I'm going to do this week, there's actually no darts Premier League this week. They're actually all going to Germany to play in, I think it's the European Tour. So Premier League's got a little postponed. So I'm going to lend my 50 over to Clinton Debrasini over here, the dog man, and get him to put. So we're going to double our bets for this Tuesday night
on the Pan Liquors
at the Hounds. See how we go.
Yeah, so that's what I'll be doing. So I'll be, instead of putting $10 bets on, I'll be putting $20 bets on. So looking forward to that.
Well, you can stick that. Well,
make it $30 bets.
No.
How much have you won this year?
Not a lot.
Anyway, keep going.
So last week I had Animo in to win. It won fairly easy, and I had Nature Strip to win in the Group 1. We spoke about James McDonald getting off Nature Strip to ride Home Affairs. Guess who won?
Home Affairs?
Home Affairs. So, and won by an absolute bee's whisker.
It was close, wasn't it?
To Nature Strip, who missed the jump. In my eyes, if it doesn't miss the jump and get squeezed at the barriers, it probably wins by, a length or so. But, that's racing and that's how it happens. So, but this week I'm going to go Think It Over in the Chipping Norton, the top weight. Think It Over at $4. I'm going to go into the race just before that, into the Walter Stakes, and that'll be Ice Bath. Put them both in to win. Ice Bath $2.35. Think It Over $4 combined price. Tristo's giving me $9.40.
What?
We are.
Wowzers. That's good money. That's good value.
I'm going to have the 50 large on it.
50
That
on
will
it.
bring you back, won't it?
Fantastic.
Probably bring me in front.
As I mentioned, boys, we're gonna empty that account out just before the season and donate all that money to our charities. Bim, the winner of our BBL tipping comp as well, is donating $50 of his prize money to each of our charities, so $150 all up. So we'll add that onto the total as well. Fantastic. All right, let's jump into 21 and done. As I mentioned last week, if you do listen to the show, get on over and have a look at my graphic design work with the openers. It's fucking fantastic. It bars me up every time. Those of you that are new to the show, 21 questions. All the questions are going to be about the 4 teams that we've previewed today. So the boys would have done their research, no doubt.
I did a little.
Who wants to test their buzzer?
Birdman.
Got a new one this week.
Oh, okay.
I know.
That's going to last you one.
I know. That's probably all I get.
All right. First question. Moray, cutthroat, sawtooth, and snipe are all species of what?
Birdman shark.
That would have been a couple of weeks ago.
What are those things again?
Moray, cutthroat, sawtooth.
eel.
Eel is correct.
I said Monday, the first one. That confused me.
Murray.
Murray.
Who are the Panthers' major jersey sponsor?
Birdman.
Ches.
Oak.
Oak is correct. But
Pink milk.
gets those ones. All right. Which current premiership winning NRL coach played fullback for the Warriors in their 2002 grand final loss to the Roosters? Which current premiership winning coach? 2002. So only 20 years ago.
Only.
Fuck.
Where's the cricket noise?
Yeah. There it is.
Um,
Want a clue?
Yeah.
Only recently became a premiership winning coach.
Birdman, Ivan Cleary.
Ivan Cleary.
Oh, I didn't think he was a fullback for some reason.
Yeah, he's at fullback. In which year did the Cowboys enter the competition?
Oh, stab with this. Chaz 2001.
No, it was before that.
Birdman, 98.
You're in the right decade. Lower. Earlier.
96.
Earlier.
Fucking hell.
92.
Higher. Fucking come on.
94.
One more.
95.
95.
Yes, we don't fucking Cowboys. I got them at the bottom, and that's the last thing I'm looking into.
3 plays 1. Honestly, this is horrible. First multiple choice question. How many points did Nathan Cleary score in the 2021 season? Was it A, 229, B, 230, or C, 231?
Something dodgy about the 30 and 31 there. Birdman, I'm going to say 30.
31.
31's correct.
I knew it.
What is the current name of Parramatta's home stadium?
Birdman, Combank.
Combank is correct. I thought I would have
bank?
got you with that because
Recently been changed from Bank West.
you mentioned Bank
I know I
West
said
last
Bank West.
week. With a surname often associated with a feeling you get when you're injured, is former Cowboys hooker Aaron who?
A feeling when you get hurt.
Yeah, when you get injured.
Trying to think of when I done my ankle and my back and my shoulder. The first thing I thought of was work.
Feeling.
What's the feeling you get?
Like you want to drive
Sore.
someone.
Close.
What?
Another word for sore.
Pain.
Aaron Payne is correct. I'll give you that one. Fuck me.
That's atrocious, that.
Wowzers. Guess what, boys?
I wasn't going to drink, but fucking jeez.
Guess what? It's back. The audio question's back.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Such a success last week. We've brought it back.
we go.
All right. Have a listen to this, and you have to answer the question.
It's unnatural. You belong to me. I belong to you.
Who are the 3 Panthers singing?
Birdman, Jerome Luai's one of them. Brian Tutto's 2 of them. Charlie Staines.
2 out of 3. Need one more. Still currently in the squad, in the team.
Not Nathan Cleary.
Definitely
No.
Justin Bieber sound.
He's in the back 5, if that helps you. Want to listen again?
It's unnatural. You belong to me. I belong to you.
So it's Tutto,
Luai
Luai, and he's in the back 5.
in the back 5.
What did I say before? Charlie Staines.
Yeah.
So it'd be Stephen Crichton.
Stephen Crichton's correct. Give you the points. Birdo gets that. 5 plays 3. How do you spell Tuivasa-Sheck?
Down here somewhere.
Can I borrow your pen?
Easy one.
I'm going to go first here.
All right. Chaz has buzzed in.
Can I spell Roger too?
No, you can. Don't put a D in it.
Tuivasa
Yep.
Sheck.
You missed the hyphen, but I'll give you the points. You got it.
That's the first spelling one I got right, probably.
It is. Fantastic. 5 plays 4. Nice and close. Next multiple choice. We all remember the 2015 grand final where JT kicked the winning field goal in extra time. What was the time on the clock when the ball went through the posts? Was it A, 81:58, B, 82:17, or C, 83:34?
Birdman, 17B.
B's correct. Fantastic.
Because he
Oh,
dropped
remember,
it,
Benny-
dropped it straight
Benny
away.
Hunt dropped it.
By the time they pack a scrum,
Yeah.
and they were about 3
Good.
tackles into the set.
I
So.
like it. I like it. Nice. 6 plays 4. And name me 4 Eels players from the 2022 squad whose first or last name starts with the letter M.
Bertman, Micah Sevo, Mitchell Moses, Makatoa,
That only counts as one.
Muratani Kore.
Yeah, fantastic. You got Reid Marnie and also Mitch Rain in there as well. So fantastic. Another point for the Bertman. You got that one, Bertman got that one as well. Which hooker is heavier?
Don't know, it's been a while since I...
Warriors Wade Egan or Cowboys Reece Robson?
Ches Warriors.
I was going to say Reece Robson anyway, because they're that fucking shit. They probably do nothing during training anyway.
Robson's 93 kilos, Egan's 91. What nationality is Panthers Moses Leota?
What's that again?
What nationality is Panthers Moses Leota?
Bertman. Oh, no, he's not. I was going to say Tongan.
I'm tossing up between Samoa and Fiji.
Toss them out.
Out.
It's none of them.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Not that hard. Fairly obvious. You're thinking too much.
What nationality is he?
That's what the question is.
Australian.
Incorrect.
Vanuatu.
Fuck. No points. New Zealand.
What?
Really?
Yeah. You got that one. No points for that. All right. Listen carefully. If the Eels held a running race at training and Gutho ran past Moses, who was coming second, what is Gutho now coming?
Ches second.
Second's correct.
That's a trick one, that one.
Last of the multiple choice questions. In round 24, 2019 was the last time the Warriors played at home in New Zealand. Who was the team that they played? Was it A, the Bulldogs, C, the Rabbitohs? Sorry, A, the Bulldogs, B, the Rabbitohs, or C, the Raiders? 2019, round 24. That's a fucking long time ago.
Yeah, it's just going to be a stab in the dark. Bertman, I'll say Rabbitohs.
Rabbitohs, nice stab, you got it.
Hey.
Correct. 9 plays 5 over here. Birdo gets those. Our new segment today is called The Send-Off. As I said, we had to bring it forward. Which former Panthers coach famously got sent from the sidelines by Bill Harrigan in 1994? Former Panthers coach.
Ches, it was Gus Gould.
Was Gus
I
Gould.
was going to say that, but didn't want to look like a dickhead.
Mate, you should have, because you already do. All right. RCG has played for both the Eels and the Panthers. Which team has he scored the most tries for?
Ches Parramatta.
Penrith.
Penrith, he scored 9 in 114 games. So that's an average of 12.6, one try every 12.6 games. Eels, he scored 5 from only 41 games, which is an average of 8.2. So he's on a much better average at Parramatta, but unfortunately, it was Parramatta. 10 plays, 6. Another audio question. All right. Which Cowboys club legend made this announcement in 2019?
Thanks for your time this morning. I'd just like to announce my retirement from rugby league at the end of this year. It was a lot easier in the car this morning.
Bertman, Gavin Cooper.
Incorrect. He ended up playing 268 games for the club.
Matt Bowen.
2019. You got the first part right. The first name's right.
Bertman, Matt Scott.
Matt Scott. Sniped in. Just like that eel in the first question. Birdo with that. 11 plays, 6. Bit of catching up to do. Ches, what was the New Zealand Warriors' original name when they entered the comp in 1995?
Bertman, Auckland Warriors.
Auckland Warriors. Yeah. Yes, nice. How many clubs has Ryan Matterson played for?
Ches 3.
3 is correct. He's played for the Roosters, the Tigers, and the Eels. Ches gets those points. All right, we've got 12 plays 7. Last question. It's for 6 points. Anyone can win.
Oh.
It is the nearest two. You each get to write down your own answers, closest wins. What is the population of Townsville? The bracket is between 170,000 and 200,000. Write your answers down and let me know when you're done. Going for 6 points, winner takes all. 170 to 200,000 is your bracket.
Oh, the same one. I know what it is. I don't know what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Hero.
All right. What is it, Ches? What do you got?
180.
180,000.
193,000.
193,000. The answer, and for the 6 points, is 196,800. Birdo gets the 6 points.
Come on,
there.
baby.
That's 3 in a row now. You started off really well. I might have to tailor some questions next week. I think.
Phil Taylor the questions.
We are looking at the Roosters next week, so they might go heavy on the Roosters in the questions there. So congratulations to you, Mr. Burton, again.
Cheers.
All right. That's good. That's that done again this week. Right now, boys, we're going to jump into Beer of the Week. Thanks to the Whitebull Hotel. As always, each and every week, they give the boys a six-pack of beer, test out, give their review and their stubby lid rating. Now, Mr. Hawkeye, I think he's kind of maybe stitches up a bit this week. What have you got? And that colour of that can is hurting my eyes.
Well,
so.
Shit.
I know next week what we're having. I actually asked for him to hold it back a week. I've got suffering from a bit of gout at the moment, so I can't have too much of the old golden nectar. Thank God for this week. Brookvale Bel Air Sour Key Lime.
Hey, not Brookvale. Don't tar them.
Brooklyn.
They're
Footy on
delicious.
the mind.
This is atrocious.
Brooklyn. Bel Air Sour. I don't think it even is a beer. I don't know.
Well, there's obvious. I have heard of sour beers, and fucking tell you what, after this, I won't be getting another one. Jesus.
Let's have a sip so I can remember. I've only just opened it.
If you are in the market for a sour beer, though, head on down to the Whitebull because they're absolutely delicious.
Oh,
It's like a
Good value for money.
Key Lime Sour Ale.
What's it taste like? Describe it.
liquid lime sherbet.
So
Liquid lime sherbet.
What
Right.
it tastes like? As I said earlier, it's like squeezing a fresh lime.
Into your in the eyes, sort of like it is.
Yeah, do 100 push-ups, 100 star jumps, and then eat your underwear.
You mentioned
Fucking
something about
shit.
if your ass was on fire. What was that comment?
I said if my house was on fire, I wouldn't even fucking bother.
No, it
trying
wasn't
to
your
put it
house.
out.
It was your ass. He said if your ass was on fire.
My ass was on fire. I wouldn't tip this on it and put it out. Fucking, it's atrocious.
What's the stubby lid rating, boys?
But you boys know me. I can motor through a few beers pretty quickly. This one's going to stay about 3/4 full. I'm going to give it a half.
Half. I don't think.
Only because
got a graphic for
only
that.
because they come from the sponsors at the Whitebull. Anywhere else would have been a zero.
Now I was going to give it a 0 actually,
But half because it's not a.
because it's not, because it's openable. So I'm going to give it a half because
Half
it's in
as
a
well.
can, so it's easily
Easy open. Don't
So
need your little.
don't need me white ball wherever it is here on me somewhere. So thanks to Hawkeye, but mate, yeah, cheers to the white ball, but yeah, stay
Fantastic.
away from it. So half a lid because it's not difficult to open.
We rolled past it today. He said, I'm going to stitch Birdo up. That's what he gave us. So good on you, Hawkeye. Thanks for that, mate. All right, boys, that wraps up part 3 of our season preview. Next week, we'll be looking at the next 4 teams, the last 4 teams. If you do like our previews, make sure to give us a thumbs up, hit the subscribe, and let us know in the comments as well. We love to hear your feedback. Thanks again to all our sponsors, TopSport. If you haven't already joined, make sure you do using our code SGM. Let Tristan know that you listen to the show and that you support a great Aussie company as well. Whitebull Hotel, fantastic sponsors as always. Anything else, boys, before we wrap it up?
Don't forget Manscaped as well. Get the right tools around your tools.
Manscaped. Got a big announcement in the next coming week with Manscaped, so stay tuned for that. You might let the ball bag out of the balls a little bit early there, mate, but let the balls out of the bag a little bit early, but that's all right.
Balls are out. At least they're smooth.
I just had a thought, just something real quick, bit of light-hearted. On the weekend there, I was out spraying the pavers for weeds. I actually ran out of Roundup. I don't think I'm going to go to Bunnings. I might just fucking put this in the...
It'll strip the Juco off your pavers.
Very good. As I mentioned, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Give us a shout out in the comments and hit us up on our socials as well. We've got the footy tipping running as well. $1,000 free money given away. Make sure you become an SGM club member and get on board for that. Until next week. Got a phone call. Got to go. See yous. Bye.